one of the names of Allah and one of the ways in which He talks about Him quite often in the Quran, and that is the name of Allah, Al-Alim, the one who knows. He says, يَعْلَمُ مَا فِي السَّمَاوَاتِ وَمَا فِي الْأَرْضِ. He knows whatever is in the skies and whatever is in the earth. وَيَعْلَمُ مَا تُسِرُّونَ وَمَا تُعْلِنُونَ. And He knows the things you keep secret and the things you let known. وَاللَّهُ عَلِيمٌ بِذَاتِ الصُّدُورِ. And above and beyond all of that, Allah is fully knowledgeable and has always known about the nature and the reality of what's hiding inside the chests. How does Allah demonstrate to us what He knows compared to what we could never have known ourselves? One of the best ways to appreciate Allah's names is to actually understand our own limits. By comparison, then you really get to appreciate the perfection of Allah and really get to appreciate how insignificant slaves we are before Allah Azza wa Jal. Historians record when a war happened and which king won or which nation conquered or how long a dynasty was. And this is what historian records can document. But a historian can never document the way Allah documents in the Quran what Fir'aun felt before he spoke. Like Allah doesn't just tell us what happened and what conversation took place, He actually tells us what was going on inside of him. وَنُرِيَ فِرْعَوْنَ وَهَامَانَ وَجُنُودَهُمَا مِنْهُمْ مَا كَانُوا يَحْذَرُونَ. Allah wanted to show them the things they were afraid of. Who would know Fir'aun is afraid? What historians going to know how he felt? Allah Azza wa Jal records that in the Quran. Think about how Allah records the prayers of Ibrahim alayhi salam. There was nobody there. Ibrahim was in a desert by himself alayhi salam, making dua to Allah, and there's no historian, no other human being that documents this record. And thousands of years later, we know exactly the conversation that took place between Allah and Ibrahim alayhi salam. This is how Allah knows history the way we can never know history. And He knows a point of view on history that no history book will ever cover. You know, sometimes people criticize the Quran doesn't have dates, it doesn't have geographical locations when it talks about history. It just simply mentions these things, but Allah mentions the kind of history that human beings could never know. And the things that human beings could figure out, Allah doesn't tell us. وَيُعَلِّمُكُمْ مَا لَمْ تَكُونُوا تَعْلَمُونَ. He teaches you what you could never have known on your own. So that's just an example of history. Think about the fact that we could never have known that there are 7 skies. How would a human being ever know that? We don't even know the end of the first sky. Allah says, وَلَقَدْ زَيَّنَا السَّمَاءَ الدُّنْيَا بِمَصَابِيحِ. The lowest of the 7 skies, Allah said He decorated them with stars. With all the telescopes that we have, all the technology that we have, all the means by which we're able to see billions of light years away, all we still see is stars, isn't it? And so by that definition, all we're looking at as far as we've seen into the universe is still within the first sky. And Allah tells us there are 7 skies. Human beings could never have known the clues that Allah has given us in the Quran. What human being would know what's going to happen after we die? How are you and I supposed to know what's going to happen of our bodies? What kind of questions are we going to be asked? What will happen on resurrection? What's Judgment Day going to look like? What questions are going to be asked? How are we going to look? Where are we going to be? What event will happen first and second and third? What does Jannah look like? What is this place Jannah? What is its description? What kind of people will live in it? What conversations are they going to have? Again, historians and human beings can have knowledge of what happened in the past and what happens right now. But Allah even has knowledge of the future. There are people in heaven having a conversation that will happen infinitely into the future, and Allah already knows, and He's telling us as if it's already happened. You see? كَانَ وَعْدًا مَفْعُولًا, as if it's a promise already fulfilled. And that's an indication, just the clue of how much Allah knows. How would we know about angels? How would you and I know, يُرْسِلُ عَلَيْكُمْ حَفَظًا, that He sends guardian angels over each of you? How would we know there are people that are writing all the deeds that we do? Kiraman katibin, noble writers. How would we know that something as simple as asking Allah's forgiveness opens doors to your rizq? استغفروا ربكم إنه كان غفارا يرسل السماء عليكم مدرارا. We would never have known that simply turning back to Allah and asking His forgiveness is going to get you a new job, is going to actually, make your baby's health better, is going to take care of some issue in your life that wasn't open before, now it's opened up, And that's what Allah says, وَيُمْدِدْكُمْ بِأَمْوَالٍ وَبَنِينَ وَيَجْعَلْ لَكُمْ جَنَّاتٍ وَيَجْعَلْ لَكُمْ أَنْهَارًا. Human beings could never have made that connection. There's no way for us to acquire that knowledge. No science, no research, no laboratory can discover this. This can only come from Allah Azza wa Jal.